there are so many of the top singers, the icons that we love that you are really good friends with. And I think a lot of fans in our mind, we always wanted to view it as like some kind of competition was happening, but that did not seem to be the case at all. It seemed like you all really had a sorority with each other. What can you tell me about like you, Gladys, even Aretha Franklin, who we'll talk about in a
Ah,
moment? What was that like?
uh, well, with Gladys and I, we grew up sort of together on the road. When she had her baby, after she had her baby, I had my baby. When her mother died, my mother died. We were there for all of our good times and our low times. And when I was asked to do verses, and when it was with her, it's like, no competition. That's my sister. We sing the same kind of way. When she sings, I sing background. When I sing, she sings background. We never put ourselves above. And Gladys is one of those people too who are so welcoming to people and so nice. What you see is what you get. She's one of the sweetest people you ever want to meet. So she never shuns any fans. And to do that show with her, after I saw DMX and Snoop Dogg, I said, God, I wish they would call me for that. And then I got the call. And with Gladys, it was like perfect, perfect match. Yes, no competition, no battle.
We everybody who watched has such a good time. And did you all have as good of a time as we did who watched it?
You see it, I was doing the chair dance. I mean, I felt like I was on stage. I kicked my shoes off and did the stuff that I do on stage. And when I'm in concert, she was feeling it. We were both feeling it. I mean, it was fun. It was like we were doing our first show. At that time, it might have been 12 months out of circulation because of the pandemic. So we both acted as if we were doing our concert. Yeah, it was fun. Fun.
When they first approached you about doing it, I know you said you when you heard it would be with Gladys that it made it even better. But is this something that you would have done regardless of who they said?
Regardless of who they said, I would have done it.
Mm.
Yes, that's a definite yes. To verses. Yes, you're honored to be called to do verses. Yes, it would have been a yes.
So I'm originally from Detroit, so you already know what Aretha Franklin means to Detroit. And
Oh
she's also,
God,
yeah, she's
yes,
everything. I mean, she's the queen of our city, even
she's
still, will
everything
always be everything. Her biopic is
forever.
Respect Forever, forever. Her biopic Respect is coming out soon. When you think of Aretha, what's kind of your favorite story that comes to mind?
Well, back in the day, we hung a lot, not hung a lot, but she called me about 6 months before she passed and reminded me. She said, "Patty girl, you remember we used to hang at this club in Detroit when we were doing a show in Detroit?" And so I acted like I remembered. But she remembered, she remembers everything, but I don't quite remember the club. But I know we had a lot of things together that we did a lot. And most people thought that we were enemies. That's a story that's relevant. And we're not. We've never been enemies. I've always admired her as the best singer in the world. And before she died, we did talk about doing a duet together. That was like 6 months before she passed. And it never happened. But I've always wanted to do something with her. And to see my baby Jennifer portraying her life is such a blessing to me because Jennifer and I talk seemed like every other day. And when she was about to do the story, she said, Mama, tell me something about Aretha, the way, because you guys travel in the same circuit and at the same time. And what was it like? I said, well, it wasn't easy back in those days for Aretha or Patti LaBelle. So we struggled, but through it all, that show had to go on. And that show always was phenomenal with Aretha Franklin, speaking of her. And just I could never say anything bad about her, just everything good. She was my hero.
Yeah, you
She
said it
is
was.
my hero.
Yeah, it is. You said it wasn't easy back in those days. People, because they know a little bit more about her backstory and yours, describe what it was like to be, a black female performer, trying to make a career. Like, how did people treat you in the industry as you guys were going show to show?
In the industry, of course, we were treated as Black women, who weren't thought of greatly. So when we traveled from Philadelphia to LA in a station wagon, whenever we would go through the South, of course, we had to go to the back doors of restaurants and get takeout food or stay in a less than nice hotel and be treated like Black slaves. You know, and we're so classy and so elegant and so phenomenal Black people, period. But at the time, people just thought of us as underdogs and not to be respected. So it was a lot of that, for Gladys, for Aretha, and for me, and for anybody who traveled, back in the day. And still it's not so great for some of us, so but it's what it is. And I've learned to live with all of my bad moments. Everything that happened to me bad back in the day, I took it as a badge of learning. And I always knew I was phenomenal, but they would try to take that away from you. So all the bad moments that we had traveling from for 20 hours in the station wagon, all of that helped me become who I am today.
Mm.
Yeah, so it was
Um,
rough, but we got through.
so seeing, knowing that Aretha again has this biopic coming out, it's only a matter of time before we see your story on the big screen. Have you been approached about a Patti LaBelle biopic?
Yes, I've been approached a few times, um, and it has to feel perfect for me to even think of somebody portraying Patti LaBelle. And I don't know who it would be. I don't know how I would feel about my life coming on that big screen, you know? I think I would be happy. But this too has to happen for me one day soon. And then I can say yes to the dress. But I'm still waiting to exhale. I'm waiting for
What
the
would
right.
be
It has to be right.
what would be the number one thing that would be most important to you if your own biopic were done?
To portray me, not God, to portray me the way. Hopefully, I'm living when it's done. Now, that's the most important thing, that I have to be here when it's done. Because if you're not, things can go a little shady and shaky. So that's the main thing that has to happen, is that I have to be living before it's done, while it's being done. You
Oh,
understand what I mean?
I do. I mean, because that way you have input, creative control, so that your story is told
Oh, right.
accurately.
And not that if I do leave it and it's done, my son will be here to make sure every I is dotted and every T is crossed. But I would like to be here when it's done. That's the only thing that I would make as one of my main things to say yes or no to. I would say no. I mean, I would say yes if I'm living and can control it.